It has been an interesting couple of days as we have returned from the break. In my own words, ladies and gentlemen, news comes at you in very mysterious ways, and I'll just leave it at that. Information, especially in today's era, comes in a variety of ways, mysterious ways, and during Alabama's first day of spring practice on Tuesday, one would think the excitement would be geared toward seeing the new coaching staff go to work for the first time, seeing Nick Saban blow his whistle and letting guys know it's time to get to business, watching all the players back on the practice field hitting and running and screaming and jumping and having fun and learning new stuff, and even getting another chuckle at the 50-year-old intern known as Butch Jones. Steve Carell gave us the 40-year-old version, and now we get a chance to fully see a man that will be relegated to pouring coffee, handing out towels, giving away water, ice cold water, get that water, and watching film and trying every possible way to not draw even more unwanted attention to himself. 50-year-old intern, Lyle Jones. But as good as all of that sounds, the thing that stole the headlines on Tuesday, the thing that had social media in an absolute frenzy, the thing that had Alabama fans screaming, how, when, why, where, Scott Cochran, what are you doing? What the Sam Hill is going on? Sophomore quarterback Tua Tagovailoa hurting his left hand, throwing hand, first day of practice, throwing hand slammed on the back of a teammate's helmet after going through drills. He would be immediately rushed to UAB Medical Center in Birmingham for x-rays and evaluation. And the reports after the mishap took place were through the roof. You talk about Nick Saban says, hey, it's a thumb injury on his throwing hand. So the media took that and went broken thumb on his throwing hand. I heard broken thumb on throwing hand. I heard sprained thumb on throwing hand, sprained thumb on non-throwing hand. People are throwing out information here, there, everywhere. I'm sitting here wondering, will the real problem please stand up? Will the real report please come out? Can somebody please get some confirmation on this? Lo and behold, Tua Tagovailoa's father, Jalen Tagovailoa, talked with a TV station, Honolulu, Hawaii, on Thursday. This was KHON Channel 2, and he told the sports reporters there Tua sustained a broken index finger, not thumb, index finger on his throwing hand, the left hand, in a freak incident, the incident that being him slamming his hand on the back of a teammate's helmet. But broken index finger, had surgery on it, surgery went well, and the father of Tua Tagovailoa expecting his son, the entire family for that matter, expecting Tua to be back before Alabama's spring game, which will be on Saturday, April 21st, 1 p.m. Central Time at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So, sigh of relief. Deep breath, Bama fans. The Hawaiian punch is okay, and you can expect for him to make a full recovery soon. He returned to practice on Thursday with his left hand heavily wrapped, and though he was able to participate in some footwork drills, do some things, the timetable for him to be fully back is uncertain. And with that being said, this is the time for rising junior Jalen Hurts, who is right now squatting 600 pounds, to close the gap where passing is concerned between he and Tagovailoa. If you look at the narrative being spun on both guys, Jalen Hurts the better runner, Jalen Hurts the better athlete, Tua Tagovailoa the way better, light years better pass, if you let some people tell it. If you were to walk down the street right now to an average Alabama fan and ask them, who do you think wins this job? Who do you want to win this job? Who's supposed to win this job? Who should Nick Saban pick? 9 times out of 10, they're going to go with double T in the morning, and they're not necessarily wrong there. I mean, when you look at the national championship game, and in the words of my man DJ Khaled, when you can deliver Nick Saban another ring, another trophy, another win, another national championship, another reason to show why he's the biggest, baddest coach in college football and why Alabama is the biggest, baddest program in the league, then you deserve to be the leader in the clubhouse. Tagovailoa, 14 of 24 passing for $166, 3 touchdowns against Georgia in that 26-23 win. And you can continue to say, 1 half, 1 big throw, 1 game, but guess what? It was a meaningful half. It was the biggest game, and that was a prime time throw. And as I mentioned in the first segment, if winning a national championship does not galvanize your team, is not taking the bull by the horns, is not showing the team that you mean business, but I don't know what is. But even with all of that, this is still a quarterback competition, seeing how Jalen Hurts is not an overall terrible passer. Yes, there are some things in his game that need to be fine-tuned. The accuracy needs to be fine-tuned. The anticipation needs to be a bit fine-tuned. There are some areas in his game that need to be fine-tuned. I know it. I see it. I've witnessed it. But at the same time, the last 2 years, he's completed at least 60%. The last 2 years, he has thrown for over 2,000 passing yards, 2016, 2,780 passing yards to be exact. And the last 2 years combined, he has 40 touchdown passes to just 10 interceptions, a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 4-1. Very strong ratio there. Last year, 17 touchdown passes to just 1 pick. Likes to protect the ball. What does Nick Saban always say? It's all about the ball. The ball, the ball, the ball, the ball, the ball. Keep the ball out of harm's way. Protect the ball. Any possession that ends on a field goal, punt, extra point, kick, we'll take that. So, his passing, not completely terrible, just things need to be fine-tuned. And for those that say Jalen Hurts, he can't do it. He can't do it. He's just not a quarterback. Athlete, just not a quarterback. Can't throw, can't do this, can't. It's ludicrous. Because I remember another quarterback that all he got was can't. And that guy's the single season school record passing holder. It's Blake Sims. 2014. Blake Sims and I are pretty close. Know him really well. Very well. Blake Sims and I, 2014, we were both seniors at the University of Alabama. And I remember prior to the two of us getting together for a meal, I would be on campus walking around, whether it's coming out of class, coming out of my apartment, at the quad, different dorms, different buildings, just that campus life, meeting people in passing. And in meeting people in passing, they talked so much about their excitement for the 2014 season. And they were getting so hyped up about it, so me being me, I'm trying to find out, hey, what's all the commotion about? Is it about, Amari Cooper being back healthy? I mean, had a great freshman year in 2012. 2013, suffered from that toe injury. Didn't get healthy until late in the year, but now he's back. He's 100%. That kid can ball. We talking about Amari Cooper? Or are we discussing Derrick Henry? Remember that Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma? Yeah. Derrick Henry put on the show. Massive body, mammoth of a running back, speed, power, vision. Talking about him? And while I'm thinking we're talking about those two, I get a response like, nah, man. We're talking about this quarterback Alabama that brought in. He's 6'5". He's 240 pounds. Big arm. We're talking about a boy that getting him from Florida State. Battled Jameis Winston down to the wire for that job. He didn't win it. He didn't win it. But he the guy we need. We need a quarterback. We don't need no athlete. We need somebody that can throw it. And Blake just ain't it. This boy Coker, he it. This is what we need. And before this podcast, in my own words, got started, way before then, way before I had the radio show on Tide 102.9 in The Way It Is, which is now on Fox 97.9 FM in Florence, Alabama, I would call in to different radio shows. This is back during my senior year once again. And what I would hear from fans on different radio shows, and this wasn't the entire Alabama fan base. Once again, I would be a complete idiot if I was to say the entire fan base. But about 75 to 80% would call into different radio shows and be like, we got a quarterback. It's Coker. Sims can't throw. Sims ain't accurate. Sims can't do this. Sims can't do that. All he do is run. We got somebody, and it's Coker. And I would hear that almost every day. And I sat down with Blake Sims. This was about 2 weeks before fall camp. I sat down with Blake Sims, Marybrook Dining Hall. Burke Dining Hall, at times it's on point, and at times it, Marybrook Dining Hall is hit or miss, to put it simple. It's hit or miss. But on this particular day, they were on. Burgers were on, chicken fingers were on, pizza was on, omelets were on, dessert was on. Everything was flaming. Everything was fire. And Blake Sims had his burger loaded up to the brim. And I'm just sitting here talking with him. And I'm like, bro, everybody talking about Coker, man. Every time I go somewhere, every time I turn on a radio dial, every person I talk to, everybody's talking. Coker's going to win the job. Coker's the better quarterback. Coker's going to do this. Coker's going to do that. I'm like, Blake, how do you feel about this, man? I remember Blake put his burger down. Blake looked at me. This Georgia native eyeballed me to my eyeball and said, Coker, this is my job. And the moment he said that, I knew he was for real. The moment he said that, I knew all the media clippings, all the naysaying had gotten to him. Because when he left that table that day, he left with a fire in his eyes that, quite frankly, I've never seen before. And he went out there, the 2014 season, single season record passing holder to this day. 3,847, passing yards. 35 total touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Led Alabama to the Southeastern Conference Championship and a Southeastern Conference title game victory. Led Alabama to the college football playoff semifinal game against Ohio State. And it would have been a win if Lane Kiffin, offensive coordinator at the time, would have continued to run the ball with Derrick Henry off the left side of Cam Robinson, in which Henry was getting 6+ yards a pop, and Alabama was up 21-6, but I digress from that statement. Blake Sims, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. Athlete, not a quarterback. He did it. He did it. And in 2014, statistically one of the worst defenses ever under Nick Saban. In a sense of 2014, Alabama couldn't pressure the quarterback to create sacks. Alabama's defensive backfield couldn't create no turnovers. Probably the best defensive back the Tide had in both seasons combined was Landon Collins. And here's the icing on the cake. People did not even know who Alabama's defensive captain was going to be in 2014. I mean, you lost C.J. Mosley to the National Football League, and people thought it's going to be Trader Priest, it'll be Trader Priest. The baton 2 steps away from Trader Priest and smacks Reggie Ragland right in the face. Now, granted, Reggie Ragland did adjust and have a marquee career, but nobody knew who was going to be the leader of that defense in 2014. Alabama had very little in the cupboard, and Blake Sims put that team on his back and carried it to the college football playoff. Jalen Hurts in this same situation right now. Y'all know what you're saying. He squats 600 pounds, but can he throw it? Is he accurate? Can he complete a pass? Not an overly terrible quarterback. Can fine-tune some things, though. Not an overly terrible thrower of the football. Just needs to fine-tune some things. And this spring is his chance to fine-tune some things and close that gap. When I look at this quarterback battle right here, and while everybody's talking Tua and Jalen, also keep your eyes on Mac Jones. That kid's special. That kid is very talented. Got a chance to sit down and have a meal with his parents. Great family. Great family. Precious, precious family right there. And Mac Jones talked to a lot of players in this program, especially the walk-ons, especially some of the receivers. He's got the prettiest deep ball of a three. He said, I've had players tell me when Mac Jones throws you a deep ball, he hits you dead in your hands. You're running under it like a center fielder. You're catching it in stride. When Mac Jones is on, he is on. And that kid's going to be something special. Getting back to Jalen and Tua, I see this quarterback thing ending one of two ways. Number one, somebody goes out there and really noticeably stinks it up, and it's by default that the other person has to take it over. Somebody goes out there and stinks it up. Case in point, 2016, Blake Barnett was named the starter against USC, was not ready. After that USC game and after seeing what Jalen Hurts did, folks were already rolling on Jalen Hurts. And then 2015, if you remember, Alabama Ole Miss, Crimson Tide benching Jacob Coker for Cooper Bateman. Bateman goes out there, absolutely was not ready. Looked like a child frozen up on the stage of a Christmas play. Didn't know what his lines were. Couldn't say a word. Froze like a block of ice. Just because Cooper Bateman ran a 4.59 in spring ball, part of that experiment in 2015, and they tried to have him at receiver, kept him at quarterback, thought the whole option look would work, did not work. You had to bring back Jake Coker starting in the second quarter, but you knew that day, it ain't Cooper Bateman, it's Jacob Coker. And that was 2015. So either one of these two stinks and it's noticeable and the other guy has to go in, or an injury takes place and somebody has to go in, provide that hot hand, and you roll from there. Ask the San Francisco 49ers the year that they got to the Super Bowl and they had to play against the Baltimore Ravens. You started the thing out with Alex Smith, the quarterback, under Jim Harbaugh at that point in time. Alex Smith got hurt in Week 7 against the Chicago Bears. You have to roll with Colin Kaepernick when he was still in the league. Kaepernick got the hot hand, took you all the way to the Super Bowl to play against the Baltimore Ravens. Shortly after that, you traded Alex Smith, got rid of him, and you wrote Kaepernick. Somebody either stinks it up or an injury takes place. I see one of the two. Tua Tagovailoa, leader in the clubhouse. Jalen Hurts has a shot to close the gap. As far as injuries are concerned, Alabama 5 other injuries aside from Tua Tagovailoa. Mac out with the foot. Anthony Jennings out with the knee, outside linebacker. Keaton Anderson, defensive back, out with the shoulder. Josh Jacobs, running back, out with an ankle injury. Could return between middle to latter portion of spring ball. We'll see. Did have ankle surgery to repair the issue, but he's out for right now. Offensive lineman Kendall Randolph, who suffered an Achilles injury in offseason workouts, is listed as out for spring as well. We take another break here. In my own words, when we get back, save it on day 1 and day 2. First 2 days of spring ball, doing some experimenting with receivers and on the offensive line. We'll touch it up and we'll break down what it means. Be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.